Hello and welcome to the Rhythm and Roots Show with Rohan and Al of the Dublin City Rounders, your weekly dose of ragtime, music hall, bluegrass, country blues, early jazz, western swing, and more. We got live sessions and interviews with guests local and around the world, recorded at Beardfire Studio, Dublin, Ireland. Be sure to like Rhythm and Roots on Facebook, catch up with the podcast on Spreaker.com, and don't forget you can become a Rhythm and Roots Patreon patron today. Now enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome to Rhythm and Roots here on Near FM 90.3 for another episode. My name is Rohan. Al's over there. How's it going, Al?
Hi, my name's Al.
Al, yep.
As you may have guessed from by the fact that you mentioned my name.
Right. Very good, yeah. Al's on fire today with the logic, bringing the logic to the masses. We have an excellent show for you good people today. We've got a great interview and live session with Alexa Merlot later in the program, which you are sure to enjoy.
And if you have a Google Alexa, be prepared for it to get triggered many times during the interview.
Many times. Like you, Al, you get triggered many times.
I don't think I've ever been triggered.
But what about, you've definitely, remember that time I ate the last donut?
Okay, there was that time.
Okay, so fair enough.
There was that time.
Okay, good. Glad we've established that. Yes, Alexa is... Sorry, yeah. People's Alexas are going to be going wild. Alexa. Alexa is, of course...
Alexa, play Toto by Africa.
God, I hope that works somewhere in the world to someone who's got their Alexa going. Alexa Merlot will be in the studio chatting and tuning with us later on. It's wonderful kind of, I don't know, I guess kind of, I think it was kind of theatrical rock and roll.
Did I say Toto by Africa?
Did you say Toto by Africa?
I think I did. It's been a long day.
Oh my God, Al. And I didn't even notice. What's wrong with our brains? Right. Yeah, lovely theatrical kind of rock and roll music. A wonderful voice, huge range and power behind it. Great skill as well on the piano. And Al whacked down some bass with Alexa there and Finton on guitar. I got to just enjoy the show for a change, which was lovely. Although I do like playing guitar with our guest, of course, as well. So let's get on with the show. We got loads of songs to get through. So let's start off with a little bit of some beautiful old harmonies from the Delmore Brothers. This is Scatterbrain Mama.
Scatterbrain Mama, I'm telling you, you can't love me and that other guy too. Oh, Scatterbrain Mama, you better put your brakes on now. Scatterbrain Mama, you gotta turn yourself around. You hang around the honky-tonk all day long. You come home tired and you do me wrong. Oh, scatterbrain mama, you better put your brakes on now. You better slow down, baby, you gotta turn yourself around. Take it, Brooke. You're always showing your curves about, but I'm the guy who'll straighten them out. Oh, scatterbrain mama, you better put your brakes on now. Cut your gas off, honey, you gotta turn yourself around. Oh, shove it down. Treating me so bad, you're gonna always wish you had. Oh, scatterbrain mama, you better put your brakes on now. You better slow down, baby, you gotta turn yourself around. Get it out, little boy. Oh, kick that thing, boy. I found a baby who'll do me right, and I'm gonna leave thee for tonight. Oh, scatterbrain mama, you better put your brakes on now. You better slow down, baby, you gotta turn yourself around. Come you ladies and gentlemen, listen to the song. Sing it to you right, but you might think it's wrong. May make you mad, but I mean no harm. It's just about the renters on Penny's farm. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. You move out on Penny's farm, plant a little crop of bagger and a little crop of corn. Come around and see you're gonna flit and plot till you get yourself a mortgage on everything you got. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. Hadn't George Penny got a flattering mouth? Move you to the country in a little log house. Got no windows but the cracks in the wall. He'll work you all the summer and rob you in the fall. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. You go in the field, you'll work all day, way after night, but you get no pay. Promise to meet or a little bucket of lard. It's hard to be a runner on Penny's farm. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. Here George Penny, he'll come into town with a wagon load of peaches, not a one of them sound. Got to have his money or somebody's check. Pay him for a bushel and you don't get a peck. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. George Penny renters, they'll come into town with their hands in the pockets and their head hanging down. Go in the store and the merchant will say, your mortgage is due and I'm looking for my pay. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm. Down in his pocket with a trembling hand. Can't pay you all, but I'll pay you what I can. Then to the telephone, the merchant make a call. He'll put you on chain gang, don't pay it all. It's hard times in the country out on Penny's farm.
Down on Penny's farm there. Next up, we have a little bit of Mary Elaine Jenkins, someone who was brought to my attention not too long ago. An incredible voice. Gosh, how to describe it? It's incredibly...
good.
Yeah, Al. You know what? It is incredibly good. But there's a sandpapery rawness to it, but also a great sweetness, which is not something you often hear in the same voice, quite
like
frankly.
sandpaper covered in
honey.
Yeah.
Honey dripping on a hot southern coast USA day. Did that make any sense, Al?
I don't think so,
Good,
but we'll
excellent.
go with it.
So she's well-travelled, originally hailing from that part of the world, but also she ended up in Washington, D.C., she ended up in Spain, and she's now based in Brooklyn, New York, but keeping a very rootsy sound to what she does, which is wonderful. The album sounds amazing. It's so warm and pretty, and her voice is complemented by some excellent musicianship and production, recorded there at Good Chill Music Studios. And released via Good Chill Music in September of last year. It's the debut album. It's called Hold Still, 11 tracks. And we're going to hear one tune of it now in a moment. But also, apparently, I've heard that during the summer of this year, she'll be making her way to Ireland. And we're very much looking forward to hopefully getting her in studio for a little session, which would be amazing. But in the meantime, do check out the album. The album is called Hold Still. It's Mary Elaine Jenkins. If you like your Americana, rootsy type music, you will absolutely adore this. And do give her a follow on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And check out the video on YouTube as well. This is Mary Elaine Jenkins with the title track from the record. This is Hold Still.
'Cause
Get up off those dirty knees, you barrel-chested poet, archangel with beer-soaked wings. Hey, it's really great to see you. Nail the chairs down to the floor, to the kitchen table too. Let the breeze come through the door. Oh, I'm finally alone with you. If something was wrong, you'd tell me, wouldn't you? Something weighing on your mind. Give it an inch, but you know I'll take a mile every time. And I keep having these dreams about New Orleans. I keep having these dreams about New Orleans, and you're always there. Your mama was a Delta queen, made of nails and buttercream. I heard her sing Jolene, Jolene. Hey, if you want him, you can have him. Wise blood making your heart pound. I'm on my way to Lafayette. Still kinda lost, but mostly found. Where will I ever get the money? If something was wrong, you'd tell me, wouldn't you? Gotta get it off your chest. Give it time, and I hope, maybe you'll give it a rest. I keep having these dreams about New Orleans. I keep having these dreams about New Orleans, and you're always standing on the corner of law and desire. Hold still, hold still, hold still, don't move, don't touch me, don't say anything. 'Cause I'm having that dream, the one about New Orleans.
The excellent Wake Up Jacob there from Prince Albert Hunt, Texan fiddle master.
The original Prince.
The original Prince, yeah. Prince Albert Hunt, what a mad name. But a very obscure artist. I think there's like one video on YouTube of some really old Texas folk talking about him, and like they used to know him or something, and that's about it. But he's a great fiddle player, really ingenious, and some of his singing as well is really quite cool, very punky. Right, so next up, we got another new artist on the show. This is someone that's a little bit different from a lot of the stuff we play on the program. It's a little bit more pop, quite frankly, but came across her music during the week. From the United States originally, ended up moving to Israel with her family and being part of... and growing up there and going to school and all that kind of stuff. But she's been writing songs since she was 17. She's had some huge success. She worked with the producer Yoed Nevo. He's worked with Sia and the Pet Shop Boys and Moby and Sophie Ellis-Bextor in London. She did that, and she's just plugging away, writing really, really cool, catchy songs, really emotionally heavy a lot of the time, a little bit heavy, but really cool tunes, and really pleased to be able to give one of her tunes a spin here on Rhythm and Roots on Near FM. So I haven't even said her name. Her name's Lynn, by the way. If you look up Lynn Music, you will indeed find her.
Creating some tension. It's like, who is it? What's her name?
I completely didn't mean to do that, but Lynn Music, you will find everything you need to know on Facebook, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff. Spotify as well. Do follow her on there and check out her stuff if you're into this kind of thing. So this is Lynn Music with her single Fire Burning.
I'm growing old while I'm young, 'cause I just can't ease my mind, my body's sore. Oh, I swore I wouldn't do this anymore. I thought the pain was over now, but it's back somehow. I try to heal myself again, but it's never the end. But where did you go? I'm locked inside, prison by mind, and I'm getting weak and doing the scenes of you and me. I break, 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 I keep breaking your heart. You take, 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 and you tore me apart. And you don't know, and you won't go. You can feel the fire burning, you can feel the tables turning, hanging on a dream, hanging by a thread. 'Cause you can feel the fire burning, we can feel the fire burning, we can feel the fire burning. I'm taking time for myself to think of what you said. Circles of lies in my head make me wish that I were dead. I thought the pain was gone for now, but it's back somehow. I try to heal myself again, but it's never the end. So where did you go? I'm locked inside, prison by mind, and I'm getting weak. I'm doing the scenes of you and me. I break, 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 I keep breaking your heart. You take, 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 and you tore me apart. And you don't know, and you won't go. You can feel the fire burning, you can feel the tables turning, hanging on a dream, hanging by a thread. 'Cause you can feel the fire burning, we can feel the fire burning. Watch it burn out, burn gasoline on an old machine. Can we fix it still? Taking my love, let the fire grow in an empty stream. Can we fix it still? help me understand. Can we get unstuck? Help me understand. Can we light back up?
Lynn there with Fire Burning. Like I said, something a little bit different today on the program, but something fun nonetheless. How are you, Al?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I've been, gosh, what have I been up to? I've been playing Mortal Kombat. I've been playing bass.
What game's that? Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's some new thing.
Some new thing where you use your hands to make an instrument make a noise?
Yeah.
Very good. If you can't tell, we've got a minute to burn here.
We
so
actually
we're just talking
yeah. This is the
nonsense.
segment of the show called the Burning Minute, where we talk about just about anything. So what have you been up to?
Well, it's called the Burning Minute. It was why we played Fire Burning
of
before.
Of course, yeah, that was completely intentional.
That was completely intentional. Well, I tell you what, Al, we've been doing a lot of work in studio with some excellent artists of late. Some really exciting stuff coming up. And of course, this is so nondescript and unspecific.
Yeah, because we can't really talk about all of the stuff, but there's a bunch of stuff happening that's
just
good.
Trust us.
That we can't talk about, but it's happening.
But it's happening, but it's good. Well, one thing we can talk about is next week's guests.
Oh, yeah.
Who are Sirens. Excellent
They're
duo.
called Sirens. As far as we know, they're not actual sirens. But
Do you mean like
be.
the ones... Well, they're not as... They didn't... I was going to try and make some terrible joke regarding sirens, as in the things that are on ambulances, but
yeah.
It didn't really pan out in my mind, like a lot of things that don't pan out in my mind. Sirens, yes, next week. We've got them in for a live session. Beautiful tune, really, really fun. They came in with a fiddle and a guitar,
and
they were
silver
singing.
pants.
They did have silver pants as well, and as...
I think they're our first guest to wear silver pants.
That is true. Just like in their upcoming music video, which they were filming, I think it was like at sunrise at the sea, and they were in the water being all mermaidy and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. One of the most exciting duos coming out of Ireland at the moment, Sirens, next week. But before that, we've got a little bit of Roy Acuff. We're going to have a little listen to the Wabash, Wabush, I don't know. I know the next word. It's Cannonball. The Wabash Cannonball.
Cannonball.
From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, from the Queen of Flowing Mountains to the South Belle by the Moor. She's mighty tall and handsome, she's known quite well by all. She's a combination on the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar, as she glides along the woodland, through the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear those lonesome hobos squall, while traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. She came down to Birmingham one cold December day. As she pulled into the station, you could hear all the people say, there's a gal from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She came down to Birmingham on the Wabash Cannonball. Our eastern states are dandies, so the people always say, from New York to St. Louis and Chicago, by the way, from the hills of Minnesota where the rippling waters fall, no changes can be taken on the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar, as she glides along the woodland, through the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear those lonesome hobos squall, while traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Now here's to Daddy Claxton, may his name forever stand, and always be remembered in the course throughout the land. His earthly race is over and the curtains round him fall. We'll carry him home to victory on the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar as he glides along the woodland through the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear those lonesome hobos squall while traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome back to Rhythm and Roots with Rohan and Al on Near FM 90.3 on this Friday afternoon, evening. I never know. What's 5 o'clock's evening, isn't it? Is 5 o'clock evening, Alexa?
No.
No?
Evening is
when
like
does
9.
evening start?
I think
Get out.
evening's like 9.
It's like 6, isn't it?
Really?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will gain you up. We'll make sure everyone can hear your
We'll
incredible
make you
input
feel
there.
special, don't worry.
So, of course, I have a terrible habit of not introducing my guests at all, which I've just completely done there. Alexa Merlot is joining us in studio today. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you, Alexa.
Hello, how are you?
Well, not too bad. I was going to ask you how you are.
Good. I'm good.
Oh, excellent. You're full of manners there, asking me how I was.
Well, there you
That feels
go.
great.
Yeah, what are you going to do for me now?
Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Off to a great start
That
here.
sounded really
No,
wrong.
Marty, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep this civilized, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, okay.
So, you've come in. We were in touch previously, and you'd sent on a couple of your songs, which I really, really liked. I suppose the first thing that struck me was your incredibly strong singing voice. Strong, but also dynamic. Incredible range of emotion and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, whew.
Thank you.
Very good. And of course your songs as well. The strength of your songs is really cool. And I have a real soft spot for songs with place names in them.
Yeah.
And you put them in them. So I'm like, yeah.
I actually did that in a conscious way, actually.
Oh, good.
What happened was, as I had my keyboard set up at home, I have a little kind of studio set up in the back of the house. And where you usually place the sheet music, I place like a music book,
Yeah.
and then I'll change it. So like I've like books on like Nirvana or Foo Fighters or whatever. So every couple of months I'll swap it over.
Yeah.
And I'll just open random pages. But one of them was actually two kids in a Kurt Cobain book, and in it there was two kids standing outside a record store, and there was a picture on the wall that said apartment for rent. So in the second verse of the song, that's where I kind of got that from, and I was like, I'll put Portobello and a bit of Dublin into
Lovely,
it, which
yeah.
I kind of wanted to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm back in Ireland now, it was nice to do.
Yeah.
So I get what you mean, it was cool.
It is cool. And you hear it in... I always think of those like Lou Reed, Velvet Underground songs, Boulevard this and Boulevard that, and this
Yeah.
street and Fifth Street and whatever. And it's funny because I sometimes think when you're writing, you think, I can't put like a street name in that I know, because you've got this association with it. It's just like that boring street, you know. But as soon as you put it in a
it's
song,
romanticised
it
when it's somewhere
romanticised
else.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know. And people elsewhere, they get, oh man, what's Portobello, you know. So,
Yeah.
and of course, I spent 7 years living on South Circular Road, so as
Yeah.
well there was that. But speaking of living places, you've been all over yourself. Do you want to tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about what you've been up to the last few years?
Yeah. Well, I've been back and forth from like London and America and Ireland for about 10 years. And I only
Wow.
moved back about a year and a half now. And I first moved, did the rock school in Ballyfermot when I was a wee
Yeah.
babby.
Yeah, wow.
I was only 16, yeah. And then I moved to London when I was about 19, did a degree over there in Westminster and stuff in music. And that really formed a lot of inspiration. Two of my lecturers, one of them was studied fine art in college and the other studied classical music. So I had like influences coming from their influences who were so varied,
Yeah.
which really kind of gave my music a lot of different influences, which was so cool. And then London itself influenced me a lot at a young age. And then kind of back and forth from New York for a few years for summers over there. I was teaching kids songwriting and forming
Yeah.
bands with them and travelling around and stuff. And that influences your music too. So
Yeah.
I've been kind of back and forth for a long time. But now, since I moved back, I've been more focusing on, now I want to work on my music.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are.
Absolutely, and it's going really well. And I think, talking there, like you're saying about working with young people and teaching and all that kind of thing, I've taught and done coaching and that with younger people before. And it's amazing, I suppose, ironically, it sounds so cheesy, I'm about to say this, but you learn a lot, even though you're kind of the person teaching. Yeah. Because they think of things in different ways or ask questions in different ways. And it's like, yeah, what is a major seventh chord?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you know what I mean? And I'm sure you found that yourself. It probably developed your songwriting in ways that were unexpected as well.
Yeah, I found it kind of it can be a bit of a catch-22. Sometimes when you're going through the formula of songwriting with kids, you have to kind of strip it back to kind of give them the basics and like kind of like the foundations of a house, which is where you kind of start with them. And then I always try and, my lecturers in uni help me build on my interests and my passions and help bring that out, as opposed to telling me I had to be someone. So that's what I like to do with the kids. Find out what they're interested in. Let them express themselves in whatever way they feel necessary. So whether it's rap or rock or songwriter, as long as you're helping them build confidence through songwriting, they can build a passion for it, because that's how I built a passion for it. And that's kind of key. But I find if you're on the same method constantly with them, sometimes that stunts your inspiration sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and then obviously when you're working with teenagers and some of them aren't into it, you're like, oh, help me. But most of them actually were. It was great.
Very good.
Yeah.
But it's true, absolutely true. You have to go to where people are at, and particularly when they're young. And when, I suppose it's so easy when people are young as well to, if something's not... If there's no satisfaction in it or there's no excitement in it, it's very easy for them to just pack it in and be like, well, why would I bother with this? So, but if you go to that point where they are and their fascination is, and find the angle there, it works great. If
you find that balance of being their friend as well, that you're not that authority to them, that you're actually there to help them, they'll kind of open up a bit more to you, which is cool.
Yeah, brilliant. So I've heard 2 of your songs. I want to hear more, but... How deep are you now into, say, the writing process for the recordings you want to do, or the band you're forming around yourself as well?
Yeah. So I have found
a man. He's over there. He's very quiet.
Fintan Lawler. He's
Fintan, just yell
to
something.
Hey, how are you?
There's Fintan.
We're going to train him to do the whole interviews eventually, and I won't have to speak at all. So
he's
here to listen. That's it now. So I had this man beside me on guitar, and then eventually we'll try and aim for drums and bass. Excellent. I like the live band. A lot of my older stuff I used to like produce, and I'd program it all. But on stage, sometimes that gets a bit tough. So we want to try and work from the ground up, so everything could be live, and hopefully get a lot of the electronic sounds through pedals and all of that. So kind of going into that kind of side of it at the moment. So kind of the repertoire that I have now, I know exactly the songs that are going to be on the EP, and I'm kind of moving away from the electronic side of it. I've kind of stripped stuff back a lot. Picked up the guitar myself, which I'm not going to play on stage, but I use it to write. And when I write with it, the vocals that come out are a lot more soul, which I kind of really like too, and more rootsy, and which I'm really liking this avenue. So the EP is going to be very much like that.
Excellent. No, I can't wait to hear it.
It'll be full of dynamic. That's the main thing. I don't really care what genre the song is, as long as I feel like I've written a good song with dynamics.
Well, I think as well in the current climate of Spotify and the way music is going, it's a very kind of single and individual song industry at the moment, and it doesn't mean you can't put together an album. Obviously, the age of that kind of album that all sounds the same or is all one particular thing seems to be becoming more of a niche thing or a subgenre thing. Whereas you get someone like, on the real pop level, like Billie Eilish or something, will put out one song that's like really just ballady, one song that's much more pop, one song that's a little bit more soul, and I think it gives you options. Like if you're doing an EP and you've got 4 or 5 songs or 6 songs that have a wide variety of genre, wide variety of mood, dynamic, like you're saying, if you're then pitching to film or television or things like this, a placement, it gives you a much broader repertoire, you were saying, that you have available. And it's cool that you're in a position to explore different genres, because you, like you said, you're influenced by so many different things.
I think as well that's always been a huge passion of mine, kind of music for film, and with a lot of my songs, that's definitely an avenue that's a big passion that I would love to get into. That I've been using a site called Music Gateway, which is great, to try and apply and sync for stuff, which is again another reason to go and record this EP, because a lot of the new repertoire I'll be getting down as well. So
yeah, exactly. And look, with the amount of you know, with the amount of visual media being produced now, it's more than ever before with Netflix and things like that. So it's the time for it, and you've got the music for it, which is great.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of your music, we're going to hear one of the tracks, one of your songs.
Yes.
This is, I mean, we kind of started the interview talking about this song, or hinting at it. The song's called Rock and Roll. I mean, you kind of described how you wrote it a little bit before, but is there anything else you want to say about it before we launch into it?
No, it was actually one of those songs that's very, it sounds so cheesy, it was very serendipitous. It was just, I literally sat down at the piano and it arrived. It came, within a few hours, and it was done. Like, and I haven't changed it since. And that book was sitting on the table on that day, and it was all very serendipitous, and it just became a song. And I found it very, I find that the song quite empowering as well, because, you know, in the music industry, you know, the way people act can be termed as, oh, that's just rock and roll, to give you an excuse to behave in whatever way you want. And I found that that's kind of the way, you know, that's not the way I want to be.
Very interesting,
But when you speak about it in the song, it's saying, well, some might say that's rock and roll. So it's kind of like the opposite of, like, it's not rock and roll, but it's a song about a story, you know what I mean?
But the ups and downs as well. And
exactly.
Of working
it's again real life.
Which
I like to talk about real life and influence people that way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, I'd like to thank you very much for stopping in on Rhythm Roots. And to Fintan as well, would you like to scream something else there?
Great, thanks guys.
That was amazing. You should just keep him. Keep that one line as the whole interview.
No, absolutely brilliant. Listen, it's been a pleasure to have you in.
Cheers,
and
thanks.
I'm sure everyone at home is going to enjoy it. For people who do want to check out your stuff, you're on Instagram, Facebook, things like that. You just want to pop your socials out there.
Yeah, Instagram Alexa Merlot. I have a SoundCloud Alexa Merlot where you can listen to kind of all of the older stuff. But Instagram is where I kind of post the new little snippets of videos and stuff like that. I also did a little fundraiser for the Simon community called the Shallow for Simon Fund, which was a cover of the Lady Gaga Bradley Cooper song. So you'll be able to find that as well if you have a little search.
It's on YouTube, isn't it?
No, it's actually on my Facebook. But if you just Google the Shallow for Simon Fund, you'll be able to have a little listen to that too. But yeah, hopefully a new EP around kind of April, May.
Excellent. Well, keep an ear out. And is the name of the live active people are keeping an eye out? Is it Alexa Merlot and the Fintan Boys or something? Or?
Nah.
I heard that laugh. You know, she's
nice try. No. No. It's at the moment. It's Alexa Merlot.
Of course.
That's that. Yeah. I have thought about that whole Florence and the Machine type thing. But no, I think for the moment it's Alexa Merlot.
Brilliant. So keep an eye out for Alexa Merlot. Of course, the stuff that's out now, but also 2019, hopefully a big year for you, and lots to look forward
Fingers
to.
Crossed.
And without any further ado, this is Alexa Merlot with Fintan on guitar and my brother Al on the bass. This is Rock and Roll.
4.
That I could think about a moment or two, I'd pick another moment instead of singing the blues. If I could correct all the lies that I told, but what it meant and how it would unfold, well, maybe I'd explain in just a moment or two why the grass was seeming green and I played you for a fool. But some would call this a rock and roll. Maybe I have made a mistake, but baby I was drunk and wasted at the end of the day. Well, maybe I'm sorry, maybe I was playing the devil, but some might say that's a rock and roll. An apartment for rent on the south side of the Keys, past Portobello by Grand Kentucky. If I could define what I do with my time, I'm writing these tales of my crazy ass life. Well, I could explain in just a moment or two why the grass There's a story you told me when we spoke of the times, but I ain't waiting around for these far-fetched lines. 'Cause I'm too young to be getting old. No, maybe I have made a mistake, but baby I was drunk and wasted at the end of the day. Well, maybe I'm sorry, and maybe I was being the devil. No, but some might say that's a rock and roll. No, but some might say that's a rock and roll. No, some might say that's a rock and roll.
Beautiful song there from Alexa Merlot. Really, really looking forward to seeing what she brings out this year once she gets to recording her tunes. So much promise and potential there, and what a strong, incredibly good voice she's got. I'm slightly jelly. Slightly is the understatement of the century. I'll go well, isn't it, here, ladies and gentlemen? We got time for a few more tunes, though. Tunes are good.
They are good.
Yeah.
And you know what I'd like right now?
Kokomo?
A big bowl of Kokomo Pops.
Kokomo Pop. Yeah, you got me. Or a nice warm cup of Kokomo.
Oh, yeah, that
Hot
works
Kokomo.
too.
Yeah.
What other words have cocoa in them?
Well, why don't we listen to the song? And while we listen to it, and the same, you at home can think of what other words could you replace with Kokomo. We are, of course, talking about Kokomo Arnold. We had one of his tunes on last week, and by popular demand, he is back. I'm going to stop doing that. With another tune, this is one of our favourite Kokomo tunes. This is Kokomo Arnold with the Sissy Man Blues.
I believe I'll go back home. I believe I'll go back home. Lord, acknowledge to my good gal, mama. Lord, I know I have done you wrong. I'm gonna ring up China, yeah, man. See, can I find my good gal over there? Righty, Kokomo, righty. I'm gonna ring up China. See, can I find my good gal over there? Says the good book tells me that I got a good gal in this world somewhere. All in the church bell is tolling, yeah, man, on one Sunday morning. Boy, that's old Kokomo. All in the church bell is tolling, on one Sunday morning. All in some old dirty deacon, come and rung that bell, stole my gal and gone. Hey, Kokomo. Lord, I woke up this morning with my paw grinding business in my hand. Till I woke up this morning with my paw grinding business in my hand. Lord, if you can't send me no woman, please send me some sissy man. I'm gonna sing these blues, mama, yeah, man, and I'm gonna lay them up on your shelf. I'm gonna sing these blues, mama, and I'm gonna lay them up on your shelf. Lord, you're gonna hear these blues again, mama, with you. Sure gonna of yourself. I played Mr. Coleman.
Aren't we all in search of happiness? To each one it means a different thing. To some it's wealth, to some it's health, to some it's only what love can bring. Please don't blame me if I'm human too. I'm the same as you and you and you. I'm a dreamer, aren't we all? Just a dreamer, but aren't we all? In my dreams each night it seems my lover comes to call. He's so charming, strong and tall. It's alarming how I fall. He's ideal, but then he isn't real, and I'm a fool. But aren't we all? He's so charming, so big and tall. It's alarming how I fall. He's divine, but then he can't be mine, and I'm a fool. But aren't we all?
The always excellent Annette Hanshaw there singing us some beautiful old jazzy tunes. We've got a couple more tunes to go, and then it's time to say goodnight to all of you lovely, lovely Rhythm and Roots listeners for another week. But we will have an excellent show for you next week as well, so do tune back in. We're going to have a little listen to Nelson's. I guess you're supposed to pronounce the T in this, or are you supposed to just do it really quick like
It
Nelson's?
might just be Nelson's.
Nelson's. I always say Nelston's Hawaiians.
It
Make
might
me
have
sound
been
like an
a
idiot.
typo.
Maybe it was, actually, yeah. So I'm going to keep using the typo title. Nelston's Hawaiians. This is a song called Just Because. Elvis did a great version of this later on. But this is one of the earlier renditions of this excellent tune. This is Just Because by Nelson's Hawaiians.
Just because you think that you're pretty, just because you think that you're hot, just because you think you've got something that you think that I haven't got. You made me spend all my money. You thought I was old Santa Claus. I'm telling you the truth, I'm done with you just because. Just because you think that you're pretty, just because you think that you're hot, just because you think you've got something that you think that I haven't got. You made me spend all my money. You thought I was old Santa Claus. I'm telling you the truth, I'm done with you just because.
And that does it for another episode of Rhythm and Roots with me, Rohan, and Al over there. How's it going, Al?
Still pretty good.
Excellent. Always good to hear that Al's doing well. We're going to leave you with an excellent old tune, Smokey Wood, one of our faves on the program here with the Modern Mountaineers. Take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you all next week. And this is Everybody's Truckin'.
Good night.
Everybody's swinging and trucking, trucking. Everybody's doing it now. Oh, now you can hear them singing and trucking. You can see them swinging and trucking, trucking. Everybody's doing it now.